In the early days, the atmosphere of Daisy World is cooler.
When I decided I was going to make a video about Daisy World, which is this kind of conceptual planet, it's really a model that tells us something about environmental systems and feedback loops and how they impact life, I knew I wanted to do something just a little bit fun, a little bit different in getting those concepts across. So I thought, well, Daisy World is a model, why don't I use models to get those ideas across? So I decided to use dioramas, which is a great way to illustrate an idea, an event, in kind of a simple way that you can make with, things from an arts and crafts store. And I thought, this is a fun way, I can get these concepts across, and this is what led me into a lot of planning.
Let's say increasing temperature.
A big part of video production is the planning process, and you want to plan it as much as you can and try to figure out, if you're the viewer watching this for the first time, what would you see? And then you can kind of work backwards and plan out how you're going to get each shot and the scene or the idea. When I was approaching the planning for this video, I used something called a storyboard. You don't have to be a great artist to do a storyboard, you just have to be good enough where you can sketch out all the steps you need to take in order to get all the camera angles and camera moves and shots that you need to get, so that when it comes time to edit, you have everything you need to work with.
When we look at snow and ice at the poles, which have a high albedo.
One of the sections in the video where planning really did pay off was the section about sea ice melting and the decreased albedo. And I know I wanted to show sea ice kind of melting on this clay and styrofoam earth, but I had to figure out, how am I going to make something look like it's melting when it's all clay and it doesn't really move? So we planned to have it start with a little bit of sea ice, and it was just white clay, and then we would have a couple of shots, and then we'd keep adding a little bit more and more because it was a lot easier to add the white onto the globe as opposed to take it off and have things look kind of messier than it is. So that really paid off because when I reversed it in editing, it looked pretty good.
More energy is absorbed by the water, and this continues to melt the snow and ice.
Obviously, not everything in the video is made of clay and styrofoam. Because the dioramas themselves weren't moving, I quickly found that I needed to add some sort of element to make them a little more dynamic and to help illustrate some of the points in the Daisy World model that just weren't coming through with only the dioramas. So I used programs like Motion and After Effects, which allow me to manipulate graphics and superimpose them onto the video footage. During this time is where I added details like the solar rays, the evaporation process, and the planet's atmospheres. When you're going out to make your own video, just remember that you're going to want to plan things out, you're going to want to test things, you're going to want to be adaptable and try to think of creative solutions, and most importantly, I think you're going to want to listen to the people that you're working with, because a lot of times they're going to have ideas of how to fix something, how to get something across that you're just not thinking of, and it's going to make the whole experience a lot more fun, and it's going to make editing and the final product a lot better.